Trent Johnson's first season at the helm here in Baton Rouge is now over, and Tiger TV's Hunter Hall took a look back on the monumental season for the Tigers.
The 2009 LSU men's basketball season has now come to a close. This season will go down as a successful one for the Tigers, who won the SEC regular season championship on their way to a 27-8 record, including 19-2 at home. The Tiger season ended last Saturday in the second round of the NCAA tournament when top-seeded North Carolina topped the 8th-seeded LSU squad. This season, LSU celebrated the 100th anniversary of the storied program and will go down as one of the best seasons in the 100-year history. Only two other LSU teams have won more than 27 games, 1981 and 2000. In Trent Johnson's first year, the Tigers finished 13-3 in the SEC, on his way to being named SEC Coach of the Year and becoming the fourth coach in LSU history to win a conference title and an NCAA tournament game.
Well, I feel a sense of accomplishment for them. Because as I've said, and I've truly believed this whole business for me is predicated off of overachieving and maximizing what you have. And for the most part, I think this team, for me, having reflected back in the last 2-3 days, and it's been painful, they did maximize and they did overachieve.
LSU as a team made 213 three-point field goals this year, finishing just two shy of the school record for a season, and led the SEC in shooting at the perimeter with 38%. LSU will now say goodbye to 5 seniors: SEC Player of the Year Marcus Thornton, 4-year starter and locker room leader Garrett Temple, center Chris Johnson, and transfers Terry Martin and Quentin Thornton. Junior Tasman Mitchell and senior Marcus Thornton both earned first-team All-SEC honors, while Garrett Temple was a second-team selection. Both Temple and Chris Johnson were also named to the SEC All-Defensive Team by the league's coaches. Tasman is still unsure whether he will return for his senior season or not. Here at the PMAC, the venue next year will look much different, with the likes of Garrett Temple and Marcus Thornton moving on. However, Coach Trent Johnson is confident that players like Bo Spencer and Storm Warren can step up and take the reins for the Tigers. Reporting for Tiger TV, I'm Hunter Hall.
At the press conference, Johnson also added that he is the Tar Heels of North Carolina winning this year's national title.
Well, it's time for our first commercial break, but later in the show, we'll have 2 reporters on set for the forum.
But coming up next, Hobie will be in the studio with your weekend preview. Stay tuned. This is Sports Showtime on Tiger TV.
Welcome back to Sports Showtime, everybody. Well, both the men's and women's basketball teams may be out of the NCAA tournaments, but there's still a great deal of action for you to catch over the next few days. It's time for your weekend preview. Well, Ally Box Stadium will be the place to be this weekend if the skies hold up, as the second-ranked Tiger baseball team takes the field against 11th-ranked rival Ole Miss. The Tigers are currently 4-2 in the SEC, tied with the Rebels in the SEC West. First pitch of Game 1 is set for Friday at 7 o'clock. We caught up with Coach Paul Maneri to get his views on the showdown of these two red-hot teams this weekend.
Exciting weekend of SEC baseball. Anytime you get LSU and Ole Miss on the same field in whatever sport it is, it doesn't matter. It's going to be highly intense, and we're really looking forward to it. Mike Bianco does a great job, a former Tiger baseball player and coach, and he'll have their guys ready to play, I'm sure, and hopefully the coach of LSU will have the Fighting Tigers ready to play.
We now kick it over to in-house baseball expert Eric Vollenweider for more analysis.
Thanks, Hobie. This weekend, the key for the Tigers is going to be finding a consistent offensive attack. Tigers have scored 10 runs in 3 of the last 5 games. The other 2 games, they were held to 4 runs or less. Because of the offensive woes, the man I really feel sorry for right now is stud right-hander Anthony Ronaldo, who has pitched 3 straight gems for the Tigers on Friday nights and still does not have a win to show for it. If Ronaldo pitches deep into the game on Friday, look for Lewis Coleman to start Saturday and Austin Ross to finish out the weekend. Ole Miss is not even close to being a bad team, but they are a team the Tigers are capable of sweeping. Jared Mitchell will be the spark for the Tigers. If he gets on base, the Tigers will be able to manufacture runs if Gorilla Ball fails. That's it for your baseball weekend analysis. Now back over to Hobie.
All right, thanks, Eric. Also, fans are being notified this weekend to not park on Nicholson Drive for safety reasons because it is so close to railroad tracks and a state highway. Well, both tennis teams will be going up against ranked opponents Georgia on Friday and Tennessee on Sunday. The men's team will be taking on the 3rd-ranked Bulldogs in Athens on Friday, and the Tigers will try to hold their own in the Doghouse, where Georgia holds a 56-match home win streak. And on Sunday, the Tigers will face the 5th-ranked Volunteers here in Baton Rouge. Now, the women's team will be taking on the 2nd-ranked Lady Bulldogs in the Dub on Friday. The team will be going up against SEC Player of the Week Chelsea Gullickson and company Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock. On Sunday, the ladies will head up to good old Rocky Top to take on the 13th-ranked Lady Volunteers Sunday at noon. Sports Showtime caught up with Coach Tony Minnis' outlook on this weekend's matches.
I have no choice but to step it up because these teams are going to come in with everything they've got. So, yeah, I mean, I think that you know, Georgia's 2 in the country. They're a great team, and you know, we'll have to see. I think Megan's day-to-day right now.
Well, the LSU swimming and diving team headed into the NCAA championships today and will continue into the weekend at Texas A&M. The 17th-ranked men's team will be sending 6 competitors to the meet, including 3 seniors, to the 3-day competition. The team will start each day at noon and try to reach the finals, which will be Saturday at 7 p.m. And finally, the softball team was supposed to take on Mississippi Valley State tonight in a doubleheader from Tiger Park, but damage from last night's storm has caused both games to be canceled. For more on how the softball team's been looking so far this season, I'll kick it over to Brian and Alex.
All right, thanks, Toby. So, Alex, the LSU softball team got a big sweep over Mississippi State over the weekend and also split games with Ole Miss this week. How do the Tigers keep that momentum going?
Well, Brian, Rachel Mitchell and the other Tiger hitters are going to have to keep stepping up to the plate and smashing the ball out of the park. Cody Trahan and the rest of the LSU pitching staff have been solid, but are not going to keep opponents off the scoreboard. So driving in runs will be crucial. With Mitchell, Langoni, and Santos developing a good bit of power in the middle of the lineup, the Tigers should be able to keep putting those runs on the scoreboard. The Tigers have proven they can slug it out with the best. Now they just have to work on their consistency and get it done week in and week out.
All right, the Tigers face nearby opponents in Southern Miss next Wednesday before returning to SEC play versus Tennessee on the 4th. How do the Tigers stay focused and not be lulled into sort of an abyss before returning back into SEC play?
Well, the Tigers just have to prevent a lull by focusing on the little things. While the Tigers will be expecting a win against Southern Miss, they will need to keep focused on every at-bat and every pitch. For instance, LSU has been scoring a lot of runs lately, but they've also left a lot of runners on base as well. The Southern Miss game will be a great opportunity for those at the bottom of the lineup, such as Anissa Young, to get some whacks on lesser pitching and develop some confidence at the plate so the Tigers can get some more of those runners home. As we all know, the more runs on the board, the more W's in the win column for the Tigers.
All right, that is a good point. Hopefully the softball team is watching the show. They'll take some of your points and try to manufacture some wins from them. But thanks for coming in. It's time for another commercial break, but when we come back, Mary Claire will be in the Forum with 2 of Sports Showtime's finest. Stay tuned. You're watching Sports Showtime.